From the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
It's 75 degrees at 9:05. Good morning, I'm Dave Maurer. State Senator Ken Horn has introduced legislation aimed at encouraging business leaders to invest in and grow their businesses in Michigan. Horn, a Frankenmuth Republican, leads the Senate's Economic and Small Business Development Committee. Senate Bill 615 would create the Michigan Employment Opportunity Program, which would provide financial support for the creation of certified new jobs through income tax capture withholding from those jobs. If a company does not create the jobs, they would receive no funding. The bill creates 3 tiers for withholdings depending on the community's population, as well as the number of jobs created and the average wage offered for newly created positions. It also outlines timeframes for capture. The bill has been referred to the Senate Committee on Economic and Small Business Development for further consideration. The Saginaw Economic Development Corporation Small Business Expo runs from 4 until 8 today at Morley Plaza next to the Temple Theater in downtown Saginaw. WSGW's Ann Williams has more.
The expo is free and open to the public with an aim to encourage the community to shop local. Over 50 small business vendors and some popular local food trucks will be featured. The guest speaker will be Latrice Goodwine, a financial expert. Aspiring entrepreneurs will be able to learn more about the Saginaw Economic Development Corporation and starting a business in the city of Saginaw. The Small Business Expo is sponsored by Isabella Bank, P2 Customs, Frankenmuth Credit Union, Jolt Credit Union, Saginaw Community Foundation, Mercantile Bank, Moreno Services, Independent Bank, and Lux Legacy. There will also be music, a raffle for door prizes, and giveaways. Ann Williams, News Radio, 100.5 and 790.
Tony Stamas with the Midland Business Alliance says infrastructure, broadband access, and talent acquisition are the largest areas Midland and its surrounding counties should be focusing on. Stamas shared these and other goals the county has at this week's Great Lakes Bay Regional Chamber Summit, joining Chamber of Commerce leaders from Saginaw Bay and Isabella counties. He says the input by others is reflective of needs put into the spotlight by the pandemic.
Infrastructure is a huge issue. We see that when we look at, in terms of the watershed, when we look at the dams, when we look at our roads and bridges, but also we look at broadband, that connectivity that we knew was important before March of 2020. Now we know it's absolutely essential, whether it's telemedicine, whether it's schools, whether it's working globally. I do think that that's something we're all hearing on a daily basis.
The summit also offered the chance to recognize Phil Eich's Full Steam Social Media as a Small Business of the Year, J.W. Fisher as Individual of the Year, Three Rivers Corporation as Large Business of the Year, and Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works as a recipient of this year's Quality of Life Award. WSGW News Time 9:08.
Art Lewis here for Thalen Honda. As you probably know, many car dealers are advertising, buy now, take delivery when it comes in. I say, why wait? Well, Thalen Honda has a supply of new vehicles ready for delivery right now during Honda's summer sales event. That's right, buy today and drive it today. And to sweeten the pot, there's 0% financing on select 2021 and 2022 models. Terms and conditions apply. In addition, the 2021 Honda CR-V Passport and Odyssey were named Best Car for the Money by U.S. News and World Report, and 6 2021 Honda models received the IIHS Top Safety Rating. Thalen Honda has new and used vehicles in stock and ready for sale, with more new vehicles arriving every week. Stop into Thalen Honda, North Euclid Avenue in Bay City to look over their inventory, or go online to thinkthalen.com. Test drive the vehicle of your choice, then sit down with a Thalen Honda representative to see how easy it is to make it yours without the wait. The Thalen family in their 3rd generation of ownership, serving your automotive needs for 44 years.
WSGW News Time 9:09. MNN's Rob Mason reports on how utilities need to address and prepare for future severe weather.
The Michigan Public Service Commission has directed the electric utilities it regulates to answer questions about the company's responses to recent storms. The order addresses recommendations Governor Whitmer made in a previous letter to the commission. After severe weather August 10th through 12th, more than 1 million electric customers lost power, some for more than a week, and dealt with widespread damage to trees, utility poles, and power lines. The order is to look at efforts to boost the utilities' reliability, support more transparency, and encourage greater engagement in their preparations for severe weather, including the effect on the most vulnerable customers.
Carrying signs that said, "Unmask our children, let the children breathe," and "My children, my say," a group of parents protested at the Oakland County Health Department yesterday. The group is upset about a new health order that makes masks mandatory for anyone in daycare centers and schools. Greg Fernandez was among the protesters.
My kids did get the vaccine. So if the vaccine works, why are they still being forced to go to these other measures? We made the choice. We have met the requirements that everybody wanted to get back to a normal society. And by the way, why is it not my choice to make that decision anyway for me and my family?
While Walled Lake and Oxford students already started classes, most other districts will start next week. Some of those protesting said their children would not abide by the mask rule. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 9:10. I'm Dave Maurer.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Patchy fog possible in spots early today. Otherwise, partly to mostly sunny. Showers and storms are possible in the area by afternoon. Highs will top out near 87 degrees. Winds east-northeast around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, cloudiness thickens up. Chance for more showers and storms. Lows drop to 65. Wednesday, east-northeast around 5 miles per hour. Friday, mostly cloudy. Shower and storm chances continue. Highs make it into the lower 80s, and then still chance for showers and storms on Friday night. I'm Phil Jensko with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Right now it's 76.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And we welcome you into this Thursday edition of the Art Lewis Show. I'm Bill Hobson, sitting in for Art all week long. We have a couple days left in this sweltering week. I'm so glad for an air-conditioned studio. We are going to get right into it this morning. We have a special guest joining us. He represents the 5th District. Our U.S. Congressman Dan Kildee checks in with us to catch us up on all things relating to us here in the Great Lakes Bay region and beyond. Good morning, Congressman. How are you?
I'm doing well, Bill. It's good to be on with you. Give my best to Art when you see him. Thank you for having me on.
And where do we find you today? Are you in Michigan or Washington?
Yeah, I'm back home. I came home yesterday on the early flight. We had some business early this week regarding the infrastructure package, and we got that done. Also passed the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and then I caught the 6:10 a.m. flight yesterday and got back here and have been touring the district ever since.
Well, there are a wide range of places we could start our conversation, and we have you with us until about 9:30. So let me jump right into it, and we'll make sure we touch a little bit on maybe a number of different things. I would be remiss not to start with Afghanistan and ask you if you know if there are any Michigan residents still trying to get out over there. Have you heard from anybody?
Yes. As of yesterday, we were working on about 25 cases of individuals with Michigan ties, either Michigan residents or family members connected here in Michigan, because for many of these people, of course, if they're working for a non-governmental organization or in any capacity, they may not have been here for a while. So there are, and we're doing everything we can to get them out. And I've expressed my views to the White House and to the State Department and the Department of Defense that while, I agree with the decision to leave Afghanistan, most Americans agree with that position, by the way, we have to take every step possible to make sure that we get every American who wants to leave out. Unfortunately, there are some who want to stay, but any American who wants to leave, we have to do what we can to get them out. But importantly, also support the extraction of those Afghan nationals who are at grave risk if they are left behind because they worked with us during the 20 years of this war. So it's a tough situation, but yes, there are Michigan residents that are there, and we're doing everything we can to work with the agencies of government to prioritize their departure.
Well, a couple of things that have happened sort of overnight, I think that would be surprising perhaps to our listeners, is this latest directive that came out from the embassy in Afghanistan saying get away from the airport. This is another level of shock that I have to think that those who have done their very best to find a way to get to the airport either aren't going to see this, or if they do, are thinking, wait a minute, I just risked my entire family's lives to get here, and now you're telling me to do what? Congressman, what's going on here?
There's a reason that direction is being given. And I can't go into a lot of depth. I had a classified briefing with the Director of National Intelligence, with the Secretary of State, with the Director of Homeland Security, the Secretary of Homeland Security, with the Secretary of Defense. It is a very dangerous situation. And so the advice that is being given to Americans is 100% focused on their safety. There are extraction efforts that go beyond the airport perimeter, and I can't get into a lot of detail on that. But I think we're in a moment now where the focus is the safety of those Americans. And because of the threat that we know exists, we have to be very careful not to make too many judgments about or politicize what is really a Defense Department, U.S. military, tactical set of decisions that is focused solely on protecting those Americans. So I'm not going to second guess the commanders on the ground when it comes to those sorts of choices that they're having to make.
Okay, and I'm not going to ask you to second guess them. I am going to say that I am far from being a rocket scientist, so I'm not claiming to have figured all of this out. But is it fair for me to say that it sure would have made a heck of a lot more sense at the beginning of this drawdown to start by removing the people, then the equipment, and then the military, instead of what appears to be the polar opposite of that?
Well, for sure. Let me say this. I don't want to mix up the question about the current directive regarding the airport and valid criticism of the way the drawdown has been done. Now, just to be clear, the order of the drawdown is the same process that's been used in every U.S. military drawdown. That's the way they do it. In fact, it's all, like even in Iraq, it's the diplomatic corps that is typically the last to go with their security forces. That's typically the case. This situation, it would seem to me, there's a legitimate question as to whether the intelligence on the ground would have suggested a different order rather than using the typical process that's been used in every, what we call a retrograde, every drawdown of troops. So I do think there are, and we've been raising these questions, there are serious questions about the decisions that went into the method of withdrawal. But my concern, and we need to press hard on those, no question about it. But I don't want to conflate that legitimate criticism with the larger question of whether we should withdraw most American support, or the very important tactical choices that the people on the ground are having to make right now in order to protect American lives.
Yeah, that's very fair. And by the way, I haven't met anybody from either side of the political spectrum who thinks it's a terrible idea for us to bring our troops out of that region. I'm with you on that.
Right.
But I also haven't met anybody on either side of the aisle who thinks this has been done well. It seems like one of the most disastrous executions of a policy in my lifetime. And let us all hope and pray that we don't end up with a bloodbath or a hostage situation. And I don't know, and perhaps you have more insight on this than anybody else. Somebody's got to lose a job at some point over this, because this decision making was brutal. It was brutal.
Well, I agree that it was not well handled. I wouldn't embrace the point that it's the most disastrous execution of policy in American history.
My lifetime. I don't go back the whole length of the country's time, but in my lifetime, in 50 years, what's worse?
Yesterday, we were able to get 19,000 people out. It's the single largest extraction. It's the single largest withdrawal in current history, probably our lifetimes. I mean, Vietnam obviously was a case unto itself. But again, this is the problem that I think we have, is that there are serious concerns that ought to be addressed. But I don't think it's the worst disaster in American history. I mean, there were many very bad days, which have been addressed. Once we got our military personnel back in position, we have been able to, one day 21,000 people taken out. The next day, 19,000 people moved out. Significantly more effective now than it was then, and significantly safer now than it was then. And that's why the current focus is making sure that it continues to be safe. And these decisions that are being made about whether people should go to the airport or remain in place until they can be extracted, those are tactical decisions that the military is making in order to protect those Americans. So it's a problem.
Yeah.
This has been, poorly executed, no question about it, until they straightened it out. And now, actually, it's going fairly well. I think we have to acknowledge that. It's going fairly well now. It's the problem that we have to focus on is, where was the mistake made, or the set of mistakes made? Was it, I don't believe it was the lack of effective intelligence, because the intelligence seemed to indicate that the threat risk was going up really quickly in the final weeks. It, I think, has more to do with, perhaps, and I'm only speculating, that the Defense Department or the State Department may have embraced the most optimistic set of assumptions when it came to how this would go. And as we know, when it comes to something like this, you actually have to plan for the worst case scenario rather than just plan around the best case scenario. And I think that may have been where the failure was.
Just two more quick questions on Afghanistan, and then we'll move on. Number one, are you concerned with the Taliban taking over all the equipment that we just ran away and left behind? Because there's a lot of military gear and technology and that kind of thing that they now are playing around with over there.
Yeah, again, this is one of those cases where this is what happens when we depart. All of the intelligence we have and history that we have says that the sophistication and the access to replacement parts, the ability to operate some of this, first of all, will be degraded as we leave. Secondly, it's a concern, but I don't think it's as big a concern. It's not as if they're going to be able to take those, whatever they might be, Humvees or whatever, and use them indefinitely. It's a problem. It's always a problem.
Why didn't we blow it up?
Pardon me?
Why didn't we just blow it up as we were leaving? That's why I keep thinking we did things in reverse order. Why didn't we disable all of that stuff? If we were going to leave it, if we didn't have the time to get it out of there, why did we leave it operable?
Yeah, well, much of it will not be operable. I think that's one of the sort of facts on the ground that we have to sort of establish. But we've got a lot of equipment there, and it would mean more time, I think. And knowing that the assessment that they're making is the same assessment that is made when these things take place in the past, is that the ability for anyone to utilize that is really limited when you think about the ability to provide parts, equipment, training, software. The easiest thing to do is pull the software. You don't have to blow it up if it can't operate, if you can't drive it.
My last Afghanistan question, and then we'll move on to infrastructure. If Congressman Dan Kildee were to give a letter grade to the administration for how this has gone, what would be the grade on the report card?
Regarding infrastructure?
No, I'm sorry. Regarding the Afghanistan pullback of the troops.
I mean, at this point in time, it'd be an incomplete. They haven't finished the work. And I'll give a full letter grade when I know that we have retrieved all Americans, retrieved Afghans that work with us, and minimized the harm to any of them. If there's loss of life, obviously that's the most critical question. And so while we all may be very much concerned about what's happening, I think things have improved dramatically. Those first 3 or 4 days were not good at all. And if we were to judge just those days, it would be a failing grade. But we're not at the end of this yet. And so I'll withhold giving a grade. It's an incomplete at this point in time.
Well, let us all pray for safety for everybody over there, and God forbid that some Americans lose their lives at the hands of the weapons that the Americans left behind. That would be so awful. Okay, our roads and highways. I think you're in town to do some infrastructure promotion. What's on the plate right now? Where does all of this stand? And is legislation? I know the first tranche of it, at least, is sitting there waiting for approval. Where are we with all of this infrastructure investment?
So just this week, I was in Washington to advance the bipartisan infrastructure agreement that the Senate negotiated basically with the White House. What we did is advance that legislation so that a final vote on that in the House, which would send it to the president, will happen no later than September 27, which is right on schedule. This doesn't go into effect until October anyway. So, I mean, this is the normal process. We've only had the bill for about 3 weeks, and we have to go through it. You know, the House has its prerogatives. We don't work for the United States Senate. They don't get to dictate to us what is in the legislation. But I think it's unlikely that we'll see dramatic changes. The one thing is of some concern is that it doesn't do as much as we would like it to do on water infrastructure, for example. It doesn't do as much as we would like to do on broadband, which we have huge areas, particularly in the rural parts of Michigan that don't have access to broadband. We'd like to see more there. So it may be that some of those pieces end up in other legislation. But we have essentially guaranteed through the rule that we pass that we will move that bipartisan bill by September 27. And so we'll have that in hand. That will go to the president's desk.
And the amount of that bill is what? The dollars on that bill?
It's kind of complicated, but in total it's 1.2 or so trillion.
Wow.
About half of that, though, is the normal annual spending. Actually, more than half of it is the normal transportation infrastructure budget of the United States. So the additional money is around $500 billion. But, these numbers are scary. Here's the problem. The American Society of Civil Engineers, not a political organization by any stretch. They're engineers. Their assessment is that the crumbling infrastructure in the United States that needs to be upgraded or replaced is about $4.3 trillion. Add to that the reality that we are in a global competition. China, our principal competitor, spends 10 times what we do as a percentage of their GDP, 10 times what we do on infrastructure. Trade policy affects how China operates. The fact that they break the rules all the time affects how they are able to succeed in eating into the American economy. But the fact that they are actually making investments in infrastructure, never mind the fact that they can do it because it's a communist country, they don't have to have elections, they can have a 50-year plan. Set that aside. We are in a competition. If we don't want to have 21st century infrastructure, we can just do nothing or spend a couple $100 million or a couple $100 billion a year. If we want to have a 21st century infrastructure, we have to build it. We don't get to make we don't get to make a choice that we can still win the future. We can't win the Indianapolis 500 with a Model T, and we can't win a global competition that we're in right now with 19th century infrastructure.
And at the same time, pretty soon $1 trillion here and $1 trillion there tends to add up to real lunch money. So when we have these I don't know if we'll ever again give an elected official permission to talk to us about debts and deficit, because we have the need, but good Lord, at some point we're out of money. Where are we getting it? We're just printing it.
Well, but let's make sure that we don't fall into this trap of believing that infrastructure spending is like other spending, because every economist, left, right, and center, agrees that for every dollar that we spend on infrastructure, we get more back in return. This is like any business. That's like saying to a business that if you have the ability to purchase 21st century manufacturing equipment because it costs money, you shouldn't do it, even though you'll make more money on that machinery. The truth is, again, economists across the political spectrum, this is why I've been so focused on infrastructure. Economists across the spectrum agree that the most important way to pay off the cost of infrastructure is with expanding the economy, having more economic activity, and with the same or even lower tax rates, bringing in the money that is required to pay off that debt. This is not simple stuff. This is not back of the napkin mathematics. This is a complicated economy. And if China somehow pulls it off and has their economy, their economic growth, pay them back for the infrastructure investments that they're making, why is the United States taking the position that we can't do that? I think it's a real mistake.
Yeah, and I would venture to offer this idea, Congressman. I know we have to wrap up our time. That if we could define infrastructure as truly concrete bricks and mortar projects, more of the American public would be in favor of it. But as we have the squad and the others coming in talking about how it also applies to so many other ridiculous things, people just shake their heads and go, "This is not what it's about." And now they're playing games. So if we can discipline the message and discipline the targeting of the spending, I think you get a lot more support from the public versus the whole thing of trying to, I don't know, do something that makes you feel good. This is a strange time to be kicking around $1 trillion here and $1 trillion there just to make yourself feel good. So that's one of the things that I keep hearing is, yeah, but they're not talking about actual highways and bridges and infrastructure and internet and things like that. It's going off in so many different rabbit trails.
Here's the problem. The conventional infrastructure that you're referring to does not include some of the stuff you just said, because it's not conventionally considered infrastructure. Like, for example, I know one of the topics we want to discuss, maybe do it another time, is the electric grid when we have power outages.
Yeah, that's infrastructure, sure.
But not according to the conventional descriptions. Neither is broadband. Neither is removing lead pipes from drinking water lines.
Right.
And when we talk about, I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
When we talk about expanding the definition of infrastructure, what we're talking about are those things. Now, I understand a lot of people like to point to the squad. There's like 4 of them.
Yeah, but they're allowed.
Really not. Pardon?
They're allowed for.
Well, but volume doesn't create policy. Volume creates noise. We are making policy. And I would suggest that you actually look at the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. You see none of the stuff that you're talking about in that bill.
That's in the next bill coming, right?
Right. But even what some of the things that you're talking about that the quote unquote squad wants, they have 4 votes. We have to get 218 votes in the Senate. They're in the House, 51 votes in the Senate. Because they make noise, I think it's really, we have to be careful not to assume that because they happen to be Democrats and they happen to make noise. We have the Tea Party and the hard right in the Republican side. They don't have that. They don't have the kind of sway either. So the decisions are made by people who sort of come together, work together, stand in the middle, and all the noise, which they can't make by themselves. Somebody has to echo them. Somebody has to report what they're saying. All that noise is just in the way of those of us who are adults trying to make these decisions. And it's a tough environment when we have to compete with the noise made by the people who are not making the decisions, crowding out the work being done by the people who are.
Well said, sir. And thank you for your time this morning. It's good to catch up with you. And one of these days, we'll get you in studio and talk maybe for an entire morning and take a bunch of calls and that kind of thing. I know you have another conversation to get to, but you're always welcome here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill.
All right. Congressman Dan Kildee joining us here on WSGW. We do have a couple of calls on hold. Chris in Midland, we'll get to you in just a moment. I got to catch up on a couple of breaks. We're getting behind because thankfully, we had about 20 minutes with Congressman Kildee, and I didn't want to spend some of it in commercial time. We'll catch up on that now, then grab your calls and your comments about what you just heard here on WSGW. Bill Hobson sitting in for Art Lewis.
Art Lewis here, and I'm often asked with whom I do business. Well, today I'm going to talk insurance. More specifically, my insurance agent, Tom Sereski. I've been an Allstate customer since 1974. Not only am I happy with the company, but more important is my relationship with my agent. Tom and his staff are knowledgeable and good listeners. They're always providing me the advice and plans I need to fit my situation. And they'll do the same for you. They can protect your home, auto, motorcycle, RV, boat, motorhome, rental property, and classic car. In addition, Tom can provide specialty insurance for event coverage like weddings, as well as pet insurance for your cat or dog. The Sereski Agency also serves the business community with Allstate supplemental health benefits. Do as I do. Shop locally with a business you trust. I trust Tom Sereski for all my insurance needs. Visit his agency on Tittabawassee Road, just west of the tracks in Saginaw Township, or call Tom at 989-497-0300. Please be sure and tell him Art Lewis sent you. You're in good hands with Allstate and even better hands with the Sereski Agency.
So long, summer. Hello, $5,000. It's the send-off to summer every Saturday in August at Saguenay Eagles Landing. Each week from 5 to 9 p.m., you can win up to $750. Then at 10 p.m., we're giving away $5,000 cash. It's the best way to cruise into autumn. Send off to summer. Only at Saguenay Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Let your fun out. Visit Saguenay-EaglesLanding.com for complete rules and details.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here to give you the killer deals that you need. You can get tons of deals going on right now from Fat Matt's Barbecue, Joyce's Purple Palette, Kitchen Kings, Cafe 1-3, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, the Pine River Golf Course, Beer Garden, the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon, and the Bay Regional Fencing Alliance. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Economists were expecting little change in the number of new claims for unemployment benefits last week after the previous week's reading slipped to a pandemic low. There were 353,000 people filing for the first time, up 4,000 from the previous week, though the number of continuing claims, those still receiving benefits, declined to 2.8 million. J.M. Smucker, maker of Smucker's jams, Jif peanut butter, and Nutrish pet food products, is reporting a better than expected summer quarter. However, Smucker says it's still dealing with supply issues and higher prices for ingredients, so it is lowering its forecast for the year. Salesforce.com is reporting a jump in sales and upbeat earnings for the recent quarter. Salesforce also owns messaging service Slack. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
You spent a long time tucked into your home, tucked into your auto-playing streaming box. Not anymore. Now you can untuck a road trip, untuck a Saturday tailgate, then untuck a Sunday tailgate too. Untuck whatever you damn well please. And if you want to look good while doing it, untuck with the shirt made for this moment. Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Find your perfect fit at untuckit.com or one of 80 plus Untuck It stores nationwide. Use code SUNNY for 20% off your first purchase.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of My Pillow, here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code SKY, S-K-Y, for this amazing special.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robin show, when Biden is in contact with the Taliban, they call it Talibanter.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
And we continue on the Art Lewis Show. Bill Hobson here sitting in for Art. Enjoyed our conversation with Congressman Dan Kildee, and we've got some callers holding on. If you'd like to chime in about what you heard, our phone numbers are 989-752-6111 or 866-790-WSGW. Chris in Midland's been holding on for quite a while. Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Hi. I'm glad you pressed the congressman on several issues, and I would have loved, I heard him say some things back to you when, you're talking about infrastructure, and he was saying something about some things you mentioned aren't included in quote unquote the definition of infrastructure. What is the legal, or if not legal, the congressional definition of what infrastructure is? This is so crazy, because what they have in their, I haven't read the whole thing. I don't know how many thousand pages is it. Their infrastructure bill is taking a lot of money for unknown reasons that I don't consider infrastructure. What's your take?
You're absolutely right. And part of the insidiousness of how legislation is handled these days is the knowledge that very few people will read all of it. It is written into the legalese that does stretch on for hundreds of pages, if not a couple thousand. And the part about it that really irritates me as a taxpayer, Chris, is that not all the people voting on it read it. So they get a summary, there's a bullet point summary, but that still doesn't, by nature of the definition, it doesn't include everything. And you end up learning down the road about these little things that were tucked away in there, the research for the health of the horned-toed frog in the swamps of Mississippi. Whatever, the little stupid things that cost you like $5 million a pop. And those are the things that really get very, very irritating for taxpayers who are hearing terminology like trillions. Like I said to the congressman, sooner or later, these things add up. And while I do agree that infrastructure-wise, we do need some investment in this country, I don't know why we just can't do it above board. I just don't know why we can't do things that have integrity to them and are done in a way that everybody says, okay, I may not have liked all of it, but at least I understood it. And at least this is kind of going back to our conversation yesterday on data and science. I would like to have from our elected officials representatives on all topics from both sides of the aisle who say, we all agree to this set of facts. We may feel differently about those facts, but we're starting from the same standpoint. What drives me nuts is when they pass massive legislation that cost all of us down the road and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren because of the debt we're incurring. And they say, well, that's not even the correct definition of what we dealt with. I don't know. I'm kind of silly this way. I kind of like to think we're starting at least from the same definitions and then can move forward to determine whether or not we approve of what's happening. But frankly, Chris, and I got to let you go as we head into another break. Frankly, we as the employers of everybody in Washington have done a lousy job of employee evaluations. Back with more calls after this.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You never know when a power outage will strike. That means you need a power source you can depend on to keep the lights and other electrical appliances working. That's why you need a Honda generator. Whether you're camping or at home, you'll never be left in the dark with these efficient, reliable sources of power. Rugged Honda engines assure you hours of uninterrupted power. Put an economical, portable Honda generator to work for you, whether it's for recreational use or as a source of emergency standby power. Take charge of any situation and let a powerful friend shed some light on things. Pour on the juice with a quiet, reliable Honda generator and get the power you need when you need it. Honda generators available now at Wolfiles, 5818 State Street, Saginaw, where customer service still exists. Open 7 days.
It's the sound of a good deal. That's music to your ears.
I'm one of thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body. I'm living in the moment and taking Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy.
Be in your moment. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com.
Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Feel like summer's flying by, but you still want to find some great family fun? The Saginaw Arts and Enrichment Commission and WSGW remind you there's still tons of fun as part of Saginaw Celebrate Summer, presented by Hemlock Semiconductor. Concerts, movies, art, nature activities, and more throughout Saginaw and the riverfront area, with many of the events happening for free. Saginaw Celebrate Summer immerses you in the vibrancy of the community while enjoying entertaining cultural and educational activities. Saginaw Celebrate Summer, presented by Hemlock Semiconductor. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Arts Saginaw. Plus, daily updates here on WSGW.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
We continue here on the Art Lewis Show. Bill Hobson in for Art this week. And up next, our caller is Carl. Hi, Carl. How are you?
Good morning, Bill. When you were speaking to Representative Kildee, you had a couple of questions for him. I guess the one you asked, why hadn't we started this earlier? And from the news reports I've seen, that there really was no good time. But if we had started earlier, then the panic just would have started earlier.
Well, the problem really, Carl, isn't when we started. It's setting this ridiculous arbitrary deadline so that it can be done by 9/11, and an anniversary that does mean something to us all, but should not have dictated this rapid withdrawal.
This agreement was signed by Donald Trump.
Yeah,
that we would be out by the end of August.
Yeah, there were a lot of agreements that were signed, and a lot of policies that were signed by the previous president that have already been shifted and obliterated. So what's the big deal about saying to the Taliban, who seems to be more powerful than our government now?
Yeah, because this agreement said, that they would not attack American forces if we got out by the end of August.
Yeah, we're negotiating with terrorists.
I know, but they have not attacked American forces in all of this mess. There have been no attacks on American servicemen,
right?
And that was part of this agreement that Trump made, and that we're living up to now. And you also asked about all the equipment that was left behind. A lot of it was given to the Afghan army that they were supposed to defend the country with, tanks and Humvees and things like that. And then when the Taliban attacked them, the Afghan army just folded and left the equipment.
Yeah.
Now, if we had taken all that equipment away from the Afghans ahead of time, that would have been a signal. There again, there's no good way to do it. It's a no-win situation.
Well, I will agree with you in this way, Carl. You're right. It was always going to be difficult, but under no circumstances will anybody ever be able to convince us of the policy that makes sense. That is, hey, let's take all the military forces out first, and then we'll come get the people. That doesn't make sense. It's in completely reverse order. The way that you do this is you get the people out first, you disable, destroy, and remove the equipment that you care about, and then you pull the military out. We've done it in the polar opposite order, and look at the fun we're having because of it.
Hi, it's Mike from West Side Decorating Center. Not sure where to start on your next home decorating project? Let the professionals at West Side help you. We specialize in paint, flooring, and window treatments, and have 3 interior designers that are ready to assist with your next project. We are a 3rd-generation family-owned business celebrating 55 years serving the Great Lakes Bay region. We can't wait to help you, so give us a call at 793-6182 or visit our showroom at 5789 State Street in Saginaw Township.
4 left!
4 right!
Ah, perfect.
Hey golfers, this is Dan Pohl, and I know your golf games aren't always perfect, and that's okay. But if you want the perfect golf experience, then come see us here at the Polecat. Don't wait. Go to polecat.net or give the Pro Shop a call. Remember, if your golf games can't be perfect, your experience can.
Ah, perfect.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
This week on RocketGrabPlus.com, we not only have 1, but 4 different deals from the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon for half off. You can use the infrared sauna for only $7.50. Get a Versus Spa spray tan for only $17.50. Use the KBL Level 6 tanner for only $16.50. You can also get a $20 gift certificate to the boutique for only $10. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Have you heard about all the benefits of joining DCECU? The great rates, the member give back. Membership sounds amazing. Too bad you're not eligible, right? Wrong. It's easier than ever to join.
I thought only immediate family of DCECU members could get in, but I was wrong. My Uncle Earl is a member, so now I can be a member too.
I'm eligible through my support for community organizations. I didn't even know that was possible.
I didn't realize that employees of nearly 100 companies can join DCECU. I was able to become a member because I work for one of them.
If you're not a member, you can be. Find out how at dcecu.org/join. Membership eligibility required. While member give-back rebates and rewards occur with great regularity, this credit union benefit is not guaranteed. Not all loan and deposit products are eligible for member give-back consideration. Some limitations apply. Insured by NCUA.
We continue here on the Art Lewis Show. Bill Hobson sitting in for Art as we try to bring in your phone calls before the top of the hour. Sorry about that to Carl. I cut him off a bit more abruptly than I intended to. Great conversation, Carl. Really good points that you made. Would love to have more time to elaborate on that. But when we talk to the congressman for 25 minutes, it gets us a little bit backed up with our commercial break. So, it's commercial radio. It's what we're doing. So thank you for that phone call, and thank you in advance to Paul from Saginaw. You're up next here on the Art Lewis Show. We've got about a minute together. Paul, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Bill, on PBS Friday Night News Hour, there was a woman interviewer on the show that reported that the original Taliban were not even Afghans. They were Pakistani religion students sent to Afghanistan by the Pakistani military intelligence in 1994, and Karzai was the one that admitted them into the country, and that's how they started, then took over the country. Then Bush, after conquering Afghanistan, he makes Karzai the new president of Afghanistan. That's how strange his administration was. And the Pakistanis wanted more territory because of their on-again, off-again war with India. And the U.S. military, they didn't train enough mechanics to maintain the equipment. And the Afghan military officers, they were selling both the parts and 50% of all the gas for the equipment and pocketing that money.
Yeah, we are going to learn in the coming days, weeks, months, and years what a mess Afghanistan is and has been. By the way, folks, I want you to hear this on a bipartisan basis. It's been a mess across multiple administrations. It was a mess under George W. Bush. It was a mess. It was a mess under President Obama. It was a mess under President Trump. And it has been, it is a considerable mess under the Biden administration. There's no debating. This is not all President Biden's fault. But the ham-handed way that this extraction has been handled is definitely a dark moment in American history. And as we speak, I just got this alert that an explosion has occurred outside the Kabul airport. The Pentagon has confirmed. We take one final break in this hour. We may try to squeeze in one more call when we come back. Here on WSGW, Bill Hobson in for Art Lewis.
General RV in Birch Run is your premier RV partner and the destination for RV shoppers. We carry over 100 top brands of travel trailers, fifth wheels, and motorhomes at our super centers, and new RVs are arriving daily. Our experts can help with all your needs, from sales and financing to parts and service. Plus, we'll get you on the road with confidence. Shop our growing selection of family-friendly travel trailers, spacious fifth wheels, and luxury motorhomes to begin your RV adventure now at General RV in Birch Run off I-75.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
According to the National Institutes of Health, 30% of hospital admissions in older adults are drug-related, like taking meds at the wrong time. Hero Health simplifies medication management. The smart device stores up to 90 days worth of up to 10 different pills. It dispenses them at the push of a button. Try Hero risk-free for 30 days and get free contactless delivery. Just call 800-420-7550. That's 800-420-7550. 800-420-7550. Hero, medication managed.
Save today on your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Platinum Plus Interior Paint and Primer in One is formulated with advanced stain shield technology for exceptional stain resistance, washability, and scrubability. Refresh your wall today with 11% off all Dutch Boy interior paint. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through Saturday, August 28th. Savings are mail and rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Tom Sullivan, weeknights at 7 on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
A lively 9 o'clock hour here on the Art Lewis Show. I'm Bill Hobson sitting in for Art. By the way, a good number of you watching us on our live video stream on the WSGW Facebook page, the YouTube page, Twitter, and Twitch. And we love having you with us. Mark Sutke has been sending in some questions because there's a live chat on there as well. You know what? One of the things that I want to do as I'm filling in and sitting in this chair is make sure we're listening to you. And it's clear that this entire issue of Afghanistan and the conversation that we had with Congressman Kildee has really stirred up your thoughts and your ideas and your emotions a bit. So a number of you have been trying to call in here in the last few minutes. What I'd like to do is have you start us off in the 10 o'clock hour with your calls. So give us a call as you hear the news, as we get closer to about 10 minutes after the hour. Give us a call back. We want to hear your voices. And so what we'll do is we'll kind of adjust things on our end so that our guest at 10 o'clock will join us at the bottom of the hour. But we'll dedicate the first 10 minutes of the next hour to your calls at 752-6111 or 866-790-WSGW. We exist to hear from you. And we tackle the topics that are important to you all across the Great Lakes Bay region, as well as around the world. And with rapidly moving developments in Afghanistan and with the conversation that you heard with Congressman Kildee. And by the way, I really appreciate him coming on and was very forthright in spelling things out. Let's talk about it. What do you think about what's happening right now as we try to get people out. We just read news of the explosion in the Kabul airport. I'm sure you'll hear about that here in a moment from CBS News. So give us a call, 752-6111, 866-790-WSGW, and we will start our 10 o'clock hour with a few of your calls before we move into our next topic, which is also a very, very serious one. All right. Yeah, trying to keep all the plates spinning today, and it's one of those newsworthy days. So we will head to the newsroom here, both globally and locally, next up on WSGW.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We're just in from the Pentagon of an explosion outside Kabul airport. No details yet on damage or casualties, but it comes after a warning today of a terrorist threat.
Very imminent, very credible, very lethal.
A British military official and the U.S. is sounding the same alarm. Correspondent Charlie Daggett reports from Doha, Qatar.
That stark warning from the U.S. State Department, stay away. And if you're already there, leave immediately. A quote, very, very credible intelligence report that an ISIS attack is imminent has forced America, its allies, even the Taliban to order people away from the airport.
Chief Pentagon correspondent David Martin on what happens after next Tuesday's deadline passes.
It is still possible to send helos to pick up Americans at locations outside the airport, but the odds of reaching every American are getting longer, and it appears increasingly likely thousands of Afghans who once worked for the U.S. will be left behind.
A White House official says President Biden has just been briefed on that explosion outside the airport. 6 commercial airlines are under Pentagon orders to help bring Americans and Afghan refugees back to the U.S. Delta's among them. CEO Ed Bastian tells CBS This Morning his company was already helping.
They're emotional missions. The people that we're carrying back are leaving only with the clothes on their back, and many of them don't even have shoes on their feet. So we're doing a great job of taking care of them, getting them safely home.
Oregon is now one of this country's latest COVID hotspots. Governor Kate Brown has deployed the National Guard to help hospitals dealing with a record number of infected patients. Sam Nash-Goff is an ICU doctor at Rogue Regional in Medford.
These patients are on such tremendous levels of life support. Once we stop that, they last less than a few minutes.
ICU beds in Oregon are at 93% capacity. Some parents in Connecticut are angry over mask mandates. CBS's Linda Kenyon has details.
They're angry because they don't want their children to wear masks in the Cheshire Public Schools. They made their feelings perfectly clear to Governor Ned Lamont, who attended the meeting along with Superintendent Jeff Solon. When Solon tried to calm things down, parents really got angry. The meeting was abruptly adjourned 30 minutes early.
New sign of economic comeback. The GDP increased at an annual rate of 6.6% in the second quarter, but new unemployment claims were up slightly. That's the first time in 5 weeks. Bank rates, Mark Hamrick.
The pandemic's demonstrated that few things really move in a straight line, and with the latest snapshot of jobless claims, well, it's consistent with that.
Dow up 39 points. The S&P is off 5. This is CBS News.
With Indeed Instant Match, just sponsor a post and immediately receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. So how do you clean your nose? Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need. Right now, get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95 and earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine against sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. On sale now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer sugar. Whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners, it's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
It's 76 degrees at 10:05. Good morning. I'm Ann Williams. Michigan State Police are warning residents to take precautions during this week's heat wave. The heat index is expected to top 100 degrees across much of lower Michigan through the weekend. A threat of severe thunderstorms also remains in the weather forecast this week, which could lead to power outages and expose more residents to excessive heat. Saginaw Bay, Midland, and Isabella County Chamber of Commerce heads gathered yesterday to recognize community business leaders for their work done during the pandemic. Saginaw Chamber President Veronica Horn said at the summit, the recognition is well-deserved for community improvement and investment over a challenging year.
We got to honor some outstanding community leaders that have given back to the region and are making the quality of life better and doing that out of the goodness of their heart. It highlights how our business owners are invested in our communities.
This year's Quality of Life Award was granted to Great Lakes Bay, Michigan Works as many seek a return to the workforce. Phil Ike from Full Steam Social Media and John Lynch representing Three Rivers Corporation each received Small and Large Business of the Year, respectively. J.W. Fisher earned Individual of the Year for repair work done following last year's dam failure, as well as maintaining a focus on employee mental health. Retiring Michigan Chamber of Commerce President Rich Studley was also recognized ahead of the keynote address for his nearly 40 years combined work and with the state chamber. Saginaw Township-based Morley is looking for people to fill 500 job openings, with up to 600 more to be added through October. Most of the jobs are local to the Great Lakes Bay region and include remote work opportunities. Human Resources Director Ricardo Rezio said it's a great opportunity for people with customer service skills in any industry, college students, parents wanting to work from home, retirees, veterans, and people with disabilities. Available positions are in a number of service areas, including administrative support, document clerks, automotive technical support, and talent acquisition. Many positions offer the ability to work in person or from home, as well as schedule flexibility. That includes the option to work 4 10-hour days instead of the traditional 5 8-hour days. You can find out more about these openings by visiting the Morley website. WSGW News Time is 10:07.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-990-6271 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-990-6271 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on the little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-990-6271 now. That's 800-990-6271.
WSGW News Time is 10:08. New efforts are underway in Lansing to better protect consumers after a new report shows the auto insurance industry overcharged customers by more than $1 billion last year. Here's more from Jason Scott at the Michigan News Network.
Democrats in both the Michigan House and Senate are calling for stronger consumer protections. They want to hold the insurers accountable and pass laws to better protect accident victims. This after a new law went into effect in July. It slashed the reimbursement rate for specialized rehabilitation care by 45%. That came out to more than $1.12 billion in 2020. according to the Consumer Federation of America and the Center for Economic Justice. A House bill meant to offer a permanent solution to the state's catastrophic care crisis has been introduced, though it's yet to receive a hearing.
That was Jason Scott reporting. Macomb County Executive Mark Hackel says that health officials are continuing to monitor COVID spread, but right now there are no plans to issue countywide mask mandates in schools like the one in Oakland County.
We all know what to do. This personal responsibility, and I think even the governor used that word, keeping you and your kids safe. If you're uncomfortable with it, you're uncomfortable that your school doesn't have a mask mandate, you're still allowed to have your kids masked up to go to school. And they're still allowed to wear the mask to school. I know there's some people talking about being bullied. Well, that's on both sides of this issue.
Hackel says some Macomb school districts have their own mask mandates while others do not. When you see news happening, call the WSTW newsroom 752-0790. It's 1010. I'm Ann Williams.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the upper 80s. Winds out of the northeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, a chance for showers and thunderstorms here late, partly cloudy skies and a low near 66. By Friday, a chance for showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, high around 84 degrees. Then by Saturday, a chance for showers and thunderstorms, cloudy skies, a high of 92. Sunday, chance for showers and storms. The blend of clouds and sunshine develops, high around 92 degrees. Then by Monday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 85. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 77.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Hey, good morning and welcome into the 10 o'clock hour of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. I'm Bill Hobson, filling in for Art all week long, having a great time in this seat. Some of you listening to us, of course, in traditional sense on the radio. Some of you are watching us on our live streams. So hello, Face for Radio, looking right at you here on the WSGW Facebook page, YouTube page, Twitter account, and on Twitch. So if you'd like to watch how radio looks, actually a little bit later in this hour, my guest, who will be our featured conversation, is going to join us in video form. So you can watch actually more than just me, which would probably be a blessing for a lot of you. But one of the things I wanted to do was kind of follow up and continue our conversation from the last hour, as we had an extended time to visit with Congressman Dan Kildee. We talked mostly about Afghanistan and about infrastructure, and you guys were all over it with the calls coming in left, right, and down the middle. And we ran out of time, so I wanted to carry that over for a few minutes because we love to hear from all of you. 752-6111 or 866-790-WSGW. So we're going to take just a few moments and take your calls to follow up on that conversation. Al is in Midland joining us here to start off this hour. Good morning, Al. How are you?
Good morning, Bill. I'm doing fine. Hey, all this blame about this president did this and this president did that. The sign of a good president, if they're handed a manure pile, they can turn around and clean it up. And Trump attempted to clean up Obama's manure pile. Now we got Biden in there creating more manure. So it's one of these deals that I look at the president as a poker player. And if he's handed a really crummy hand and does an excellent job cleaning it up, another example would be FDR handed Harry Truman quite a manure pile with the war effort and all the spending and all the rest of the stuff. So and this deal with Pelosi and the squad, well, Pelosi wouldn't be in the speaker without the squad, so they're pulling her by the short hairs. So this business of Kildee saying something about it's a little small group making a lot of noise, they have a lot of pull because they got Pelosi right where they want her.
Yeah, and in defense of Congressman Kildee, not that he needs my defense, but it's got to be frustrating to be a serious-minded legislator. And whether I agree with Dan on some things or not, he's a serious-minded gentleman, and he's very well-spoken. It's got to be super irritating to have those four loudmouths just flying off the hook every time you turn around, saying nonsensical things, defund the police and all that stuff. So it's got to be really tough to deal in that setting.
And he's having a tough job trying to defend against that, too. So you're right. Yeah. He's in a really tricky spot with that. So this business of the weapons left behind, a lot of those weapons can't be disabled. Shoulder-fired missiles. They have thousands of those shoulder-fired missiles. They could shoot down an aircraft or a military aircraft with no trouble at all with one of those things. And it's a devastating thing for us to have left things like that behind. So
we're not out of the woods here yet, and let us pray that people get out of there safely. I feel terrible for the Afghan people, but that was always going to be the case. If we were going to withdraw, it was always going to be the case that there would be a vacuum of leadership there. But I think we underestimated the ineptitude of the Afghan army. We trained them, and it didn't appear to work. Al, thank you for the phone call. Let's go to Sean in Bay City next here on WSGW. Hi, Sean.
Hey, how you doing over there?
Doing well, sir.
Excellent. Hey, just a few points here. First and foremost, what you have to realize, because the Afghan army wasn't inept, they were just the highest paid military in the world. And when we told them that the checks ain't coming anymore, what would you do too? Yeah, I'd run too. Okay, that's number one.
I'm going to stick with inept. Sorry, but if it literally means
I'll give you that.
But here's why, Sean. If it literally means that my family is going to be in danger, then I'm not putting the weapons down. I'm fighting till the very end. And they just literally Barney Fife their way right into a disaster. So it is partially on them.
Yeah, I agree with you. But they also were the highest paid military in the world. And when that check stops coming, they're not stupid people. They're gonna get the heck out of there, and they're gonna hide is what they're gonna do.
They did. At least. By the way, let me stop you real quick. Fox News is reporting that at least three U.S. troops were hurt in the Kabul airport suicide bombing, negotiating with terrorists. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Well, and the next point of this is you got to understand, none of this is by accident. This is going completely up to plan. It's a giant red flag, and now all the talk is about Afghanistan, and instead of the stolen election, the inflation that's taking all your money, the huge border crisis, the mass stupidity. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. And when it comes to Mr. Kildee, anybody that wants to support $7 trillion. Do you have any idea how much money they're going to skim off $7 trillion? You know how much money is available to skim? I mean, you got to start thinking here a little bit. That's all a scam is all it is. And then the last thing I got for you, just to show how dumb people are. I'm out here in Bay City. The other day, I'm watching this dude on a motorcycle, right? He's on a motorcycle. He got no helmet on. He got flip-flops and shorts. I shit you not. Oops, sorry. But he's got a mask on. He's got a mask on. He's got no helmet. He's worried about the COVID, not the pavement. So, I mean, it just goes to show, and I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I seen it. I laughed my butt off. And these are people that are going to make decisions for you and me. The problem with America is everybody wants facts. I want truth. Facts change constantly. The truth will always be. The truth is Donald Trump won the election. That's the truth. Nobody voted for Biden. Oh, come on. Don't be stupid. Don't be a dum-dum. Everybody knows it. Nobody voted for this Biden. The reason he ain't got an answer to you in America is because he's illegitimate. He owes you nothing. He owes me nothing. His staff owes you nothing. This whole thing, they don't owe you nothing because you didn't vote for him. You got to think like they think. They took over. That's what they did.
Sean, I appreciate the phone call. I have enough trouble keeping track of my own thoughts and trying to think of what other people are thinking is far beyond me, but I appreciate the phone call. Thanks for listening. Thanks for participating in the conversation. You know what? Every once in a while, it's good just to have a chance to vent, right? You kind of get some of that stuff out of your system and you can get on with your day and feel better. I'll refrain from further commentary on that. We've got a couple of minutes left for a couple more phone calls at 752-6111 or 866-790-3776. WSGW, and then we will move into our featured conversation for this hour, which is a very serious one on the opioid crisis, the epidemic that is sweeping across our land, and a very special event that's coming up where you can be a part of it. So Barry Schmidt will join us in just a few moments, but let's go to Gladwin next and check in with Greg here on WSGW. Hi, Greg. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm good, sir. Thanks for listening and calling.
Why would you let Sean just keep on rattling his mouth right there when he knows Trump lost the race?
I don't, you know what?
That's
I'm so far past that conversation. If somebody wants to vent for 30 seconds, as long as they're polite, I'll let them vent. But, you know, when they start calling me stupid, then we're done. So it's easy. What's on your mind?
Yep. You should let him get away with it, though.
Well, what do you want me to do? Drive over and disconnect his phone? Hey, Greg, I'm giving you a few minutes here. What do you want to talk about? Greg, I'm about to cut you off. Get to your point.
Correct people when you know they're wrong. Why can't you do that? I mean, that's the problem. Everyone keeps on saying all these things, but it's not true. I mean, how much more proof do they need that Biden won the election? How many times did it go to court? How many times did it go to the Supreme Court? Biden won the election.
All right, very good. Well said. And by the way, once Joe finds out he's president, he's going to be shocked. All right, Jeff. I think I just disconnected Jeff unintentionally. Jeff, call back if you will, please. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button and didn't mean to cut you off like that. I wanted to hear what you had to say, just like I did with Greg and just like I did with the caller before. Okay, we will, let's grab that back again. I think that's probably Jeff right there at 752-6111. Sometimes the big fingers miss the small buttons, and I think I cut him off. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's Jeff. Jeff, sorry about that. You didn't even get your 2 cents worth, let alone your 1 cent worth.
Hey, that's okay, Bill. Hey, I just got to say, you've got the most calming radio voice of anybody I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Hey, just a quick comment. I thought you did a really good job in interviewing Kildee. The flaw I'm seeing there, and let me go by way of analogy, is if I'm drunk and I get in an accident and I damage my car, I made a mistake and I get an F, right? And even if I fix my car to make it look just like it did before I got in the accident, I still get an F. And Bongino yesterday warned that people are going to start running cover. It's obvious that Kildee is starting to run cover for Biden in saying, well, we got to finish getting these people out. If the right decisions were made in the first place, we wouldn't have to be getting all these people out. I hope you do get him back on again, because I think it really shows people where he stands on stuff. Well, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for the call, Jeff. Much appreciated. I enjoyed talking with Congressman Kildee. He's a very nice man. He's a very thoughtful man. We would approach things from a different perspective in many different instances, but at least I know when I'm talking with him that we can have that conversation. There are a number of representatives who they won't go there. They just won't even have the talk, and they'll bluster with a whole bunch of smokescreen stuff. So thankful for that. Thankful for all of your calls as well. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll shift our focus a bit here to a very important topic of the opioid epidemic that is still sweeping our nation. And you talk about things that hit directly close to home. That certainly is one of them. So we'll continue that next. Here on the Art Lewis Show, Bill Hobson in for Art on WSGW.
Want to know how to nail down more construction jobs and give yourself a concrete advantage in a competitive industry? Become a certified lead abatement professional. Learn how to remediate lead safely and help Michigan families get lead out of their homes. Here's the drill. If you work in construction, you're eligible for the training, whether you're a painter, plumber, carpenter, electrician, or other tradesperson. With just 3 days of training, you can become a certified lead abatement worker. With 4 days of training, you can become a certified lead abatement supervisor. So give yourself a competitive edge while you help Michigan families live healthier lives. Learn more about lead abatement training at michigan.gov/lead workforce. That's michigan.gov/lead workforce. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
while you're comfortable inside your home or business. The weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a Roof Max shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with Roof Max, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here to give you the killer deals that you need. You can get tons of deals going on right now from Fat Matt's Barbecue, Joyce's Purple Palette, Kitchen Kings, Cafe 1-3, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, the Pine River Golf Course, Beer Garden, the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon, and the Bay Regional Fencing Alliance. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
I'm Connell McShane. This is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks open mixed. The number of people filing for unemployment benefits for the first time increased by 4,000 last week to 353,000. Continuing claims dropped to 2.8 million. Bank of America is lowering its forecast for the end of this year for interest rates on 10-year treasuries. The bank says it's forced to acknowledge that the Delta variant has caused a considerable reassessment of the economic outlook. Williams-Sonoma shares are rallying after its earnings were stronger than expected. It's also raising its dividend. Politics website Politico has been sold to German publisher Axel Springer. The company also owns The Insider and Morning Brew publications. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Coselda. Invested in you.
Angie's List is now Angie. Whether you need help with routine maintenance or you're planning your dream renovation, Angie connects you with top local pros who can get the job done right. See reviews, compare quotes, and book hundreds of projects. Plus, when you book and pay through Angie, we'll cover your project up to the full purchase price, plus limited damage protection with our Happiness Guarantee. Check out Angie.com, and for more on the Happiness Guarantee, go to Angie.com/happiness-guarantee.htm.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Powerball is now powered up. This gigantic jackpot game now has new double play, giving you a sizzling second drawing with a guaranteed top cash prize of $10 million after each Powerball draw. How about another jolt of fun? A third draw day to light up your week. Now Mondays, too. That's double the chances to win 3 times a week. So plug into Powerball. We're talking big. Knowing your limits is always the best bet.
This is a test. WSGW is conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This is a test of the emergency alert system on WSGW. Equipment that can quickly warn you during emergencies is being tested. WSGW serves Saginaw, Bay, and Midland counties, along with the surrounding area. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system on WSGW.
And welcome back into the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Thank you for all your phone calls. Connected into the conversation with Congressman Kildee. We now kind of turn the corner, and I want to say thank you in advance to our guest, Barry Schmidt. He is the project director of Bay City's Neighborhood Resource Center, and Barry was patiently waiting through that conversation and into all of our phone calls. So, Barry, thanks for doing that. How are you?
Good. Yourself?
I'm doing great. And for those of you who do like to watch radio, you can now see Barry. You know what? Barry and I appear to use the same barber.
We got the memo, right?
Yeah, we go to the same barber, and we spend next to nothing on haircuts. It's a beautiful thing. How are you, man?
Excellent. I'm doing great. I'm just excited about our event tonight. On Saturday, I should say, and as well excited to be here with all the listeners and with you as well.
Yeah.
And thank you for the opportunity.
It is a serious topic. We start talking about the word opioid has come into our lexicon in the last few years, and not in a good way. It's really become part of our national discourse. What has developed? Let's give it a 10-year window. 10 years ago, you and I would not have ever uttered the word opioid, right?
Well, actually, we would have, because we were starting to see some of this already. We were doing some research and things like that. And unfortunately, the data doesn't always catch up as quickly.
Okay.
Because you're looking at federal and state data, it takes longer to get that data. Now we have this system where we can get the data from a local standpoint much quicker within a few days. And I know that the health department is looking at actually having a ongoing system where they know exactly every day how much is going on. So them are all things that are being put into place, which now will make it a lot easier.
Let's go to the foundational level of this conversation. Define opioid for us, if you would.
Yeah. Opioids basically are pretty much anything that takes away pain. You're looking at any narcotics, whether they're legal, such as oxycodone, Vicodin, Darvocet. Those are different ones there, as well as the illegal. And we're looking at the heroin, whether the heroin is heroin laced with fentanyl, or even heroin laced with carfentanil. So all those have different levels when we're looking at that as well.
Some of it prescribed, some of it illegal, correct?
Correct. Yep. The heroin that I talked about was all the illegal side, and the Darvocet, the oxycodone, the Vicodin were all the ones that were Vicodin and Oxycontin were really the major ones, the drivers behind everything. They're the prescription drugs. Just as an FYI, we consumed 90% of the Oxycontin and Vicodin in the world, but we only populate a small percentage compared to the rest of the world. So it gives you an idea how severe this actually was.
Why are we so? Why are we the global leaders in this when we don't want to be?
We don't think pain's a good idea. We think pain's a bad thing, and we also have the issue that go way back in the American Medical Association. I think it had looked at making pain a fifth vital sign. So when you went to a doctor and you asked your pain level, they were actually a few years ago, they were actually reimbursed based upon how much you were dealing with their pain. You could say at a pain of 9, you really had a pain of maybe 2, but if you wanted the medication just to make you feel differently, because pain is something, believe it or not, pain is natural and normal.
Yep.
It's something that tells you, number one, there's a problem. I mean, when parents or anybody passes away, you're going to have some emotional pain. That's natural. When you turn your ankle playing basketball like I did, you have natural pain. That's telling you there's something wrong. So pain is something that gives us a warning sign, but we chose to say, no, we don't need to worry about that. We need to make sure everybody has no pain at all. And that was unrealistic.
Yeah, and for the concept of just taking the edge off, and if you've had a major surgery, my son just had surgery, you're given 5 milligram doses of something to take the edge off, but you still have to be careful. You still have to pay attention to what that might be doing, because those opioids are so powerfully addictive. I mean, it can happen quickly, right?
Within 7 days.
Wow. Okay. And how widespread is it in the Great Lakes Bay region?
In the Great Lakes Bay region, we had just in Bay County and Bay City from January till July of this year, we had 103 overdoses just from January to July, just in Bay City and Bay County. If you're looking at the death rate, which once again, numbers are hard to get like anything else from the state perspective, we had Bay County had 17 in 2019 overdose deaths. Midland County had 6, and Saginaw County had 29. So there's various things that increase those levels, maybe the round of services, maybe the stigma. A lot of people that are dealing with this issue when it comes to substance use addiction don't want to talk about it. And that goes back to that stigma issue. And we know that if you look at your neighborhood, you're in any neighborhood anybody's in, 1 in 10 people in your neighborhood is struggling with substance use problems. And a lot of times those are opiate related. And people don't look at that. They look at, oh, that's just those addicts, you know. And the problem when you use that word, the people think they're dirty, they're unclean. That's not true. They're individuals that have an addiction and illness. So our event we have coming up, the Night You Remember Dinner, is basically trying to do some things. Number one, we're trying to honor those that have been lost and remember them because they're individuals, they're humans. Secondly, we want to celebrate those in recovery because recovery is possible. Recovery is something that will occur and can occur and hasn't occurred. In fact, a lot of my good friends that I have are in recovery and doing wonderful. They actually, believe it or not, Bill, they actually pay their bills better than we do when it comes to things like that. We're also trying to support those that are actually have people that are still in active illness, as well as and trying to help support those that are in the illness themselves. So, you know, that gives you kind of an idea of why this is such an important process, why this event is so important. You know, 93,000 nationally died from the opiate issue during the COVID time. The problem is I think that number is actually probably underrated because a lot of people were in isolation, and it depends on how people are coded in the hospital systems and the different things. You know, you may have an individual that may have actually committed suicide, completed suicide. However, it may have been an opiate related issue, but because of various different circumstances, they may say that that was the concern of why the death actually happened.
Yeah, and I want to have the conversation with you about who is at risk. And we think back over the years, and there were some very high-profile people that were publicly addressing their issues with opioids, for painkillers mostly. We'll talk about that and more as we remind you all of a very special event coming up on Saturday. So we'll continue with Barry Schmidt here in just a moment on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW.
General RV in Birch Run is your premier RV partner and the destination for RV shoppers. We carry over 100 top brands of travel trailers, fifth wheels, and motorhomes at our super centers, and new RVs are arriving daily. Our experts can help with all your needs, from sales and financing to parts and service. Plus, we'll get you on the road with confidence. Shop our growing selection of family-friendly travel trailers, spacious fifth wheels, and luxury motorhomes to begin your RV adventure now at General RV in Birch Run off I-75.
Have you heard about all the benefits of joining DCECU? The great rates, the member give back. Membership sounds amazing. Too bad you're not eligible, right? Wrong! It's easier than ever to join.
I thought only immediate family of DCECU members could get in, but I was wrong. My Uncle Earl is a member, so now I can be a member too.
I'm eligible through my support for community organizations. I didn't even know that was possible.
I didn't realize that employees of nearly 100 companies can join DCECU. I was able to become a member because I work for one of them.
If you're not a member, you can be. Find out how at dcecu.org/join. Membership eligibility required. While member give-back rebates and rewards occur with great regularity, this credit union benefit is not guaranteed. Not all loan and deposit products are eligible for member give-back consideration. Some limitations apply. Insured by NCUA.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week on RocketGrabPlus.com, we not only have 1, but 4 different deals from the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon for half off. You can use the infrared sauna for only $7.50. Get a Versa Spa spray tan for only $17.50. Use the KBL Level 6 tanner for only $16.50. You can also get a $20 gift certificate to the boutique for only $10. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Ad paid for by CompleteCar.com. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to the COVID crisis, we are announcing a low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay nothing for auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay nothing for auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1980. $19.85 now. Drivers who are covered by this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair bill again. This auto coverage is at an all-time low, much lower than what dealerships are charging. Additionally, drivers who activate this auto coverage today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and free rental car at no additional cost. Call for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1985. 800-549-1985. What do you have to lose? Again, 800-549-1985.
This is the Stone Specialist Studios, 100.5 News Radio WSGW, 790 News Radio WSGW.
We continue on the Art Lewis Show. Bill Hobson sitting in for Art Lewis, and our guest is Barry Schmidt. Barry is the project director of Bay City's Neighborhood Resource Center, and it's the Night to Remember event in conjunction with the opioid issue. And Barry, I don't know what this tells us, but since you and I got together on this video stream, the number of people watching has gone down a bit.
Maybe it's a reflection of our heads, you know.
Oh yeah, we could be blinding. Yeah, that's true. I need a little more powder up here. Hey, we have to have a few laughs because it's such a serious subject. And as I was mentioning before the break, I can remember back several years ago when the Green Bay Packers quarterback Brett Favre came out with the acknowledgement of his addiction to painkillers. And I mean, it's not surprising given the abuse his body was taking as an NFL quarterback. And then probably even more prominently, just a few years ago, Rush Limbaugh struggled with painkillers as a result of a surgery. And I believe his was oxycodone or Contin or one of the oxys. And so you were talking about how 1 in 10 roughly in our Great Lakes Bay region might be experiencing difficulty with this. It truly is hard to tell, right? It truly is everywhere. From you can't just assume. No. You can't put a stereotype of a classic opioid addict in your mind.
No, it goes across all ethnicities, all economic backgrounds, all educational backgrounds. And that's the thing about that is addiction can affect anyone. I mean, there are people that have kids that are judges. There are people that have kids that are doctors. There may be a teacher, there may be a bus driver, it could be anybody. And that's the thing about this. And we know that those that are highest risk are those that are having lots of different issues with isolation. They don't have the support systems. They might have struggling with their rent and all those different things because they're trying to deal with the coping of that issues. But also it goes across all those different things. And then another high risk category as well as athletes, as you just said, because if they're going to get into any injuries, that's going to be the first line of defense. And we actually work with a lot of different pain places where we give information about for high school and athletic athletes about what parents should be concerned about because this is something that's out there. And we're not saying that opiates aren't good for some individuals because some individuals may need them for that, like you said, for that surgery and things like take the edge off. But once again, you have to be cognizant of your family history. You have to be aware of why you're using. You have to know the dosage you're using. The doctor has to monitor it. So those are different things to look at. What I'm concerned about is right now, we're seeing more of the middle age and the older, and hopefully we've done enough education on the front end that we won't have the next wave of the high school and even the middle school, because that will be a concern. Because if you look at our community here in Bay County, celebrating is something with substances is pretty prevalent. Right. Whether you look at the number of alcohol establishments, whether you look at them in marijuana establishments, and then we also have the pharmacies as well. So we've been very cognizant of trying to make sure that when we're talking about this, we're letting them know about the things they can do to make sure they're not involved in those things. We can talk all we want about all the bad things about it, but you and I know when you're a kid, that ain't going to happen to me. So we try to focus on the wellness side and how we can improve our bodies and improve our mind. And even using the spiritual, the faith being really important. We know the individuals that are involved in their church, and especially youth, have a less likely chance to be involved in those things. So we're encouraging those things as well.
Yeah.
So,
where in that discussion do you also address those who are writing the prescriptions?
and that's where we do have what's called the Michigan Automated Prescription Monitoring System, where they do actually have to report the opioids that they're prescribing as part of their requirements. We also do some education with them. Luckily, we are affiliated with McLaren Bay Region here. So as an example, our numbers for prescription meds have gone down from 134,000 in 2018 to in 2019 from a statewide 93,000. So we've went down dramatically, from 135,000 to about 94,000 from a state perspective. But like I said, we work with McLaren Bay Region, and that's one of the things that they've worked on with Michigan Open is in decreasing the number of people, let me rephrase it, the number of medicines, pills that are given for surgeries and that. You're not given a 90-day set or a 30-day set. You're given 5 or 7, and the laws have been into place with that as well. So yeah, that's another. So like you're saying, it's not just at one level. There are multiple levels. We call the social ecological, looking at different levels, the medical community, the school community, the parents, and even the media. And we appreciate the media and what they do sometimes, but sometimes some media, not you guys, some media actually perpetuate some of the problems, and different things like that. Even some of the Facebook places, they just demoralize people that are dealing with this issue. When you demoralize people aren't going to get help, and
No, you're right. If you put a stigma on it, everybody's going to run and hide. And
Exactly.
that's really the danger in all this. You've also been very active last week and again this week with a special program that's been literally out on the streets. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Our guest is Barry Schmidt here on the Art Lewis Show on WSGW, and we'll continue this important conversation after this.
Hi, it's Mike from West Side Decorating Center. Not sure where to start on your next home decorating project? Let the professionals at West Side help you. We specialize in paint, flooring, and window treatments, and have 3 interior designers that are ready to assist with your next project. We are a 3rd-generation family-owned business celebrating 55 years serving the Great Lakes Bay region. We can't wait to help you, so give us a call at 793-6182 or visit our showroom at 5789 State Street in Saginaw Township.
So, what do you think?
You nailed the custom cabinets.
And the countertop is perfect.
It makes the space.
I'm in love with my kitchen again.
Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design makes your dream spaces a reality with custom cabinetry and a variety of countertop options like Corian, granite, and quartz, offering both in-store and in-home personalized consultation. We're with you from inspiration to installation. Your dream space is just a phone call away. PremierKitchenandBathGallery.com.
So long, summer. Hello, $5,000. It's the send-off to summer every Saturday in August at Saginaw Eagles Landing. Each week from 5 to 9 p.m., you can win up to $750. Then at 10 p.m., we're giving away $5,000 cash. It's the best way to cruise into autumn. Send off to summer, only at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Let your fun out. Visit Saginaw-EaglesLanding.com for complete rules and details.
For the 14th consecutive season, your home for Michigan Wolverines football is WSGW.
Touchdown, Michigan!
After a disappointing 2020, the Wolverines look to bounce back and contend for a Big Ten title while proving the professional naysayers wrong.
McNamara. Slant cut. Caught. Touchdown, Michigan!
Head coach Jim Harbaugh revamped the coaching staff during the offseason to bring a new energy to the Michigan sidelines. With a roster full of talent, the Wolverines are poised to show their back. The Wolverines kick off the new season Saturday, September 4th against the Western Michigan Broncos at the Big House. Game day coverage begins at 11 a.m. with kickoff at noon on 790 News Radio WSGW.
Sponsored by Forward Energy.
This fall, new memories of Michigan football are made right here on WSGW.
We continue on the Art Lewis Show, our conversation with Barry Schmidt, who is really fighting the good fight in this battle against opioid addiction and abuse. And Barry, we were talking before the break about some special things you've really been concentrating on last week and again this week, yard signs and special kits and Narcan and that kind of thing. Walk us through what it was and why it was important.
Yep. We are outside 400 South Trumbull, outside McLaren Bay Regions by the Diabetes Education Building. And in this event, we are having a variety of different things. We have the Narcan Kits. The Narcan Kits are designed to save a life. If an individual is overdosing on opioids, basically, they're going to die. And this tool kit, basically, you utilize and it brings them back to life. And we provide those kits for free as part of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Additionally, too, we can also provide a quick training on that so you know what to do and how to use it. We also have big yard signs say overdose awareness. August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Month. So we have material regarding what to do and how to do, support groups available in the area as well. And we're also promoting our Night to Remember dinner, which is Saturday at Pierre Marquette Depot, 1000 Adams Street. And that runs till 6 till about 8:30. And at that event, we have a lot of sponsors. I'd like to talk really quick just about those sponsors. We have Hartel Heating and Cooling. They are Heroes of Hope sponsors. These are our top sponsors. Hartel Heating and Cooling, Auburn Physical Therapy, McLaren Bay Region. We also have our Unity sponsors, Peer 360 Recovery Alliance, Saginaw Psychological, Harry and Connie Gill, Dr. Janet Goodsinger, Paul's Flowers, Clarice Custom Art and Framing, Friends of Recovery sponsors, Fix Auto, We Care Auto, Sushi Remix, the Neighborhood Resource Center, Rogers Family Food, Wheeler Golf Range, Laser Connection, Jolt Family Credit Union, Financial Edge Credit Union, Saginaw County Youth Protection Council.
You got a lot of sponsors here.
Yeah, in memory of Larry and Nancy Cunningham, the Bay County Prevention Network. And by the way, that doesn't include all the sponsors we have that have given us silent auction gifts.
Barry, we're not reading that list.
Silent auction things to give out.
We're not reading that list.
No, we're not. There's 50 of them for that. We're not going to do that.
Well, I'm glad that you have the support of the community. That's so very important. Let's take a quick phone call. Jim is in Freeland and wants to talk about this subject. Jim, go ahead. You're on with Barry Schmidt.
Hello. What I'm wondering, the opioids is got to do with pain medicine, right?
Most of the time, yes.
Well, back in October, I started urinating a lot of blood and found that I had kidney cancer. So they put a garden hose up me and taking out my kidney. And last Super Bowl, I broke my collarbone. And I've been in a lot of pain, and my doctor basically wants me to sit in a circle singing Kumbaya. And, none of that stuff is working for me. What am I supposed to do?
Well, that's something you really have to consult with your doctor regarding that. There are some alternatives to pain out there. I recommend reaching out to the pain clinics in the area because, you have cancer and there's other mitigating factors that I'm not all aware of. So I don't want to give any doctor's advice here, but I strongly encourage you to call a medical professional as well as the pain clinics because there are some alternatives to pain. And God bless you on your cancer and different things that are going on for you. I'm praying for you. Okay.
Yeah. Jim,
something more I can help you with.
Sorry to hear you're going through all that. And at the same time, Barry, I've not heard you say at any point in our conversation that medication to relieve pain is off the table. We're talking about addiction here and about illegal substances. And so I would echo what Barry said, Jim, which is, your doctor's trained for this very reason. Neither of us are medical professionals, that's for sure. So again, very sorry for what you're dealing with. And We'll be praying that it goes better for you and that pain can be relieved for sure. It is called A Night to Remember. The event takes place on August 28th at Pierre Marquette Depot at 1000 Adams Street in Bay City. It's a 6 to 9 o'clock. Tickets are $20, and you can go online and grab those through Eventbrite or where else, Barry?
Our Bay County Prevention Network Facebook page, as well as the Neighbors Against Drug Abuse Facebook page. And they're just basically a QR code. You scan it, and it goes right to it. So we made it pretty easy for everybody to be able to get those tickets.
Well, thank you for coming on and kind of opening our eyes to the scope of this issue. We hear about it in bits and pieces on the news. We hear about it maybe if a family member has an issue, but on a wide scale Great Lakes Bay regional conversation, it's not often in the mix. But man, is it ever prevalent and important to discuss.
Yep. If I can quickly just say the 4 organizations that are basically getting funds from the supporting it is the Bay County Prevention Network. We have the Neighbors Against Drug Abuse. We have Peer 360 Recovery Alliance, and we have Families Against Narcotics in Great Lakes Bay. All those organizations are working to mitigate, prevent, provide treatment, and recovery services to people that are dealing with substance use related issues.
Very good. Barry, thank you so much. Hope the event goes well for you.
All right. You have a blessed day.
You too. We'll take our final break this hour on the Art Lewis Show and be back after this.
Why has Crane's L&M Appliance Center been serving the area for 65 years? Customer satisfaction. Hi, I'm Eric Crane.
And I'm Kelly Crane.
Here at Crane's L&M, you get knowledgeable support and the best brands at the best possible pricing. Help us celebrate August 23rd through the 28th. Price reduction on all products that are in stock, great financing, and rebates up to $1,000.
GE LG Speed Queen. Brands you can trust, all on sale. Celebrate 65 years with us and save.
Crane's L&M Appliance Center, 3260 Bay Road in Saginaw, where we work with you.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here to give you the killer deals that you need. You can get tons of deals going on right now from Fat Matt's Barbecue, Joyce's Purple Palette, Kitchen Kings, Cafe 1-3, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, the Pine River Golf Course, Beer Garden, the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon, and the Bay Regional Fencing Alliance. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com. You never know when a power outage will strike. That means you need a power source you can depend on to keep the lights and other electrical appliances working. That's why you need a Honda generator. Whether you're camping or at home, you'll never be left in the dark with these efficient, reliable sources of power. Rugged Honda engines assure you hours of uninterrupted power. Put an economical, portable Honda generator to work for you, whether it's for recreational use or as a source of emergency standby power. Take charge of any situation and let a powerful friend shed some light on things. Pour on the juice with a quiet, reliable Honda generator and get the power you need when you need it. Honda generators available now at Wolfines, 5818 State Street, Saginaw, where customer service still exists. Open 7 days.
It's the sound of a good deal. That's music to your ears.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AA Wealth Management, LLC.
It's Marklave and Camp and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
And we wind down a very busy morning. This 11 o'clock hour has flown by, as did the prior hour. Focus is still ahead. Coming up in the 11 o'clock time slot, we're going to talk appliances. Yeah, what's in your kitchen? What's in your home? We'll talk about those things, the technology that has so rapidly evolved. I just want to wrap up our main part of the morning on the Art Lewis Show, looking back at a few things that have transpired. Grateful for the conversation with Congressman Kildee. at the same time as we're having that, and just after we ended it, we keep getting these bulletins coming up that explosions, perhaps suicide bombings, and things happening right outside the Kabul airport. And remember that as I was talking with Congressman Kildee, he said there are reasons that we are moving people away from the airport, reasons that I can't get into here. And I'm sitting here shaking my head now at the timely nature of that conversation, given what transpired just a few minutes later. And it's entirely possible that intelligence was all connected to getting people out of there before something that was scheduled to happen. I don't really know, but it's fascinating to me to see the timing of all those things coming together. Thank you all for your phone calls, by the way. Even those who yelled at me, my favorite call of the day really was the one who yelled at me for allowing another caller to come on and talk. That's probably my all-time favorite. But you get a little bit of everything when you open up the phone lines. But the best part is we get to know that you, as our audience, are engaged in these topics. And these are emotional times for everybody. So thank you for your phone calls and being a part of the conversation that takes place every day here on WSGW. Now we head to the newsroom for local and global news.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Facet Wealth.
I'm Steve Kathan. What's being labeled a suicide bomb attack outside the airport in Kabul, Afghanistan. The Pentagon says Americans are among the casualties. The airport's been jammed by people looking to escape the Taliban. U.S. officials had feared an attack from an ISIS group was imminent. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
The Pentagon has confirmed the explosion and says it isn't clear how many casualties there are. It happened near Abbey Gate, which the U.S. Embassy had warned Americans to avoid late yesterday. In fact, the State Department just issued a new advisory that any Americans near that gate or two others should leave immediately. President Biden has been briefed on the situation. He was in a meeting with his security advisors when the explosion was first reported.
CBS's Christina Ruffini on the possible impact.
Until this point, people I talked to thought it was worth the risk to try to get there, to try to get on a plane. We'll have to see how bad this is, and we'll have to see if that makes people reevaluate these runs to the airport we're seeing in the final days here of this evacuation.
And there's also word of a blast near a hotel in Kabul. National Guard's been deployed in Oregon to more than 20 hospitals that are dealing with a flood of COVID cases. ICU beds in the state are at 93% capacity. Clarissa Carson is an ICU nurse at a hospital in Medford.
I mean, every day we see just the body boxes roll out one after the other. And then as soon as we clean the room, we get somebody back in there.
At a back-to-school event in Cheshire, Connecticut, a roundtable about a school mask mandate ended abruptly as opponents shouted down school officials and Governor Ned Lamont, who was there. A major wildfire is causing damage and disruption in Minnesota.
The Greenwood fire burning in the Superior National Forest in northeastern Minnesota has doubled in size to 34 square miles. At least a dozen homes and cabins have been destroyed and hundreds have been evacuated. Fire Incident Commander Clark McCready.
It was one of the most wonderfully well-coordinated efforts to move people out of harm's way that I've experienced in about 20 years.
The fire has prompted the closure of the popular Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness north of Ely, Minnesota. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
The government says claims for unemployment benefits edged up last week for the first time in 5 weeks. Bankrate.com's Mark Hamrick.
The surge in COVID cases is restraining economic activity and, by extension, the recovery. Whether or how much this impacts the job market remains to be seen.
The government revised its economic growth figure for the second quarter slightly higher at an annual rate of 6.6%. The Dow is down 130. This is CBS News.
Facet Wealth, personalized and affordable financial planning for everyday Americans. No wealth or asset minimums. Quality financial advice for every stage of your life.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
It's 78 degrees at 11:05. Good morning. I'm Ann Williams. Saginaw Township Police and the Saginaw County Traffic Crash Investigation Team are investigating a 4-vehicle crash that killed a driver from Merrill and injured 2 other drivers. Saginaw Township officers responded to the crash about 4 p.m. yesterday on State Street west of Weineke. MMR ambulance paramedics assisted with extricating and treating the 3 injured drivers. Police say it appears a Chevy Silverado pickup heading east on State tried to change lanes and hit the 3 other vehicles. One of the drivers died after being taken to a local hospital. The 2 other drivers were also taken to a local hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. Congressman Dan Kildee is touring the I-75 road construction project in Buena Vista Township this afternoon. He'll be joined by officials from the Michigan Department of Transportation. During the tour, Kildee will talk about the need for Congress to pass a bipartisan infrastructure bill to help rebuild Michigan's roads, bridges, and highways. Kildee's office says under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Michigan could receive at least $7.3 billion for highways and $563 million for bridge replacement and repairs over 5 years. Layoffs dropped last week in Michigan as fewer people headed to the unemployment line. Here's more from Murray Feldman at the Michigan News Network.
Layoffs dropped by just over 7,000 last week in Michigan, a sign the jobs recovery is picking up steam. 5,226 people filed for benefits. Nationally, 348,000 people filed claims, that number a bit higher than the week before. In order to collect unemployment benefits, workers have to prove they were let go by no fault of their own. Attorney Deborah Brower at the Detroit firm Nemeth Law says if they lost their job for failing to follow company policies, such as getting a COVID vaccination, they may not be able to collect benefits in Michigan. Deborah Brower at Nemeth Law says each case would likely be decided individually. Murray Feldman, Michigan News Network.
WSGW News Time, 11:07.
Want to know how to nail down more construction jobs? And give yourself a concrete advantage in a competitive industry? Become a certified lead abatement professional. Learn how to remediate lead safely and help Michigan families get lead out of their homes. Here's the drill. If you work in construction, you're eligible for the training. Whether you're a painter, plumber, carpenter, electrician, or other tradesperson. With just 3 days of training, you can become a certified lead abatement worker. With 4 days of training, you can become a certified lead abatement supervisor. So give yourself a competitive edge while you help Michigan families live healthier lives. Learn more about lead abatement training at michigan.gov/lead workforce. That's michigan.gov/lead workforce. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
WSGW News Time is 11:08. Saginaw Bay, Midland, and Isabella County Chamber of Commerce heads gathered yesterday to recognize community business leaders for their work during the pandemic. Rick Antonio has more.
Saginaw Chamber President Veronica Horn said at the summit the recognition is well-deserved for community improvement and investment over a challenging year. This year's Quality of Life Award was granted to Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works as many seek a return to the workforce. Phil Ike from Full Steam Social Media and John Lynch representing Three Rivers Corporation each received Small and Large Business of the Year respectively. J.W. Fisher earned Individual of the Year for repair work done during last year's dam failures as well as maintaining a focus on employee mental health. Retiring Michigan Chamber of Commerce President Rich Studley was also recognized ahead of the keynote address for his nearly 40 years combined work with the state chamber. Rick Antonio, News Radio 100.5 and 790.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer, in preparation for the Biden administration to begin offering booster shots to all vaccinated residents on September 20th, issued an executive directive to state departments and agencies to begin preparing the state's vaccine response to administer booster doses to Michiganders. The governor specifically directs the state of Michigan to prioritize booster doses, beginning with residents in long-term care facilities, including nursing homes and adult foster care. On August 18th, the CDC, U.S. Surgeon General, and Food and Drug Administration announced their conclusion that booster shots of the Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines will be needed to maximize the protection that the vaccines provide against the virus. The Michigan Department of Transportation invites the public to attend a virtual meeting today regarding the ongoing M21 corridor study in Genesee County. During the public meeting, the draft plan will be presented for comment and input. Additional project background can be found on the MDOT website. Questions can be submitted during the meeting using the chat tool. MDOT staff will be available at 6 p.m. today. And residents in an area of northern Michigan were told to beware. Several million honeybees were on the loose when a large truck transporting them overturned in Charlevoix County Wednesday afternoon. The sheriff says it could be 50 million honeybees. WSGW News Time is 11:10. When you see news happening, call the WSGW Newsroom at 752-0790. I'm Ann Williams.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the upper 80s. Winds out of the northeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, a chance for showers and thunderstorms here late, partly cloudy skies and a low near 66. By Friday, a chance for showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, high around 84 degrees. Then by Saturday, a chance for showers and thunderstorms, cloudy skies, a high of 92. Sunday, chance for showers and storms. The blend of clouds and sunshine develops, high around 92 degrees. Then by Monday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 85. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 79.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
And welcome into the Focus program for this Thursday. I'm Bill Hobson, sitting in for Art Lewis, as I have been all week long. And we have a chance to celebrate and say congratulations to one of our area businesses that is commemorating a milestone anniversary, and just such a great story of Crane's L&M Appliance. We welcome in Eric Crane and say congrats. It's 65 years is pretty impressive, my friend.
Thank you, Bill. It's definitely been a very long road to get us to this point.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing you haven't been there all 65 of those years yourself.
No, unfortunately, I have not. No, I started working with my dad when I was 10 years old. Mm-hmm. He recently actually passed in December due to COVID, and so I was forced to take the wheel.
Wow!
But since then it's. We're making leaps and bounds, and we've become one of the largest independent dealers on this side of the state.
Well, first of all, most importantly, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your dad. That's a jarring event, and then also includes you stepping in to take over the business. So that's probably a double layer bit of stress. How you doing? How you holding up?
I mean, you hold up the best that you can. I have employees and family and my own family that I have to take care of. So, we did our grieving, and then it's just time to continue on.
Yeah. And probably exactly how Dad would have wanted that to happen.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's, it was family first, work second. And I mean, we did a lot of both.
I understand there's a unique history to the name of the business, Crane's L&M Appliance. Why don't you walk us through what that whole name means from a historical standpoint?
Yeah, no problem. In 1956, the business was actually called L&M Maytag. In 1985, my father purchased the company from the original owner, and he moved it from a garage that was on Atlantis Street in Carlton to our original building, which was 2930 Bay Road, which was right next to the railroad tracks. We were there for 35 years. The building that we were in actually got sold, and we were forced to either close down or, put our big boy pants on and man up and time to buy our own building. So that's what we did. 8 years ago, we moved into our current location, which is at 3260 Bay Road, just a couple blocks north of where we used to be. We went from 3,000 square foot to a 6,500 square foot showroom with, 4,000 square foot actual storage in the back, which allows us to, keep product in stock. Like right now, I have over 400 appliances in stock right now.
Well, that's surprising to hear. It seems like there's a shortage of about everything everywhere. So that's fairly impressive.
Well, that's what makes us different. It's, me and my mother, we work hard at what we have. And, every morning, super early, we're on the sites going through. And if there's 2 or 3 products, we pick them up. We do it same thing at night, because that's when the semis come in, super early, super late. And that's what allowed us to keep stuff in stock is we don't buy 1 or 2, we buy, 10 to 15 at a time.
Should I be surprised to hear that you're still kicking and doing really well in the age of, big box stores and online everything? I love the fact that there's still a family-owned business that's doing quite well. You're far too rare these days, right? So how do you do it in the face of, the big labels that we see and where you can go in the same building and buy a garden hose, a washing machine, and lunch, all under one roof?
Right. Well, it's adapt or fail. It's, I spent a lot of time with our brand source team, which is our buying group. That has given us, almost $9 billion in buying power. And that's what allows us to keep competitive with all the box stores that are out there. While being competitive with pricing, we also offer a lot more than what the box stores will ever. One is knowledge. We specialize in appliances. We know our appliances, the ins and outs, how they're built, where they come from. The other thing that makes us massively different is service after the sale. I have 2 service technicians on the road all the time. They, and our customers come first. So if they have a breakdown, we're out there as fast as we can, making sure things get fixed. And if not fixed, then we are the ones that go to bat for the customers against the manufacturers. There's just no 800 number.
Yeah. I love that. And by the way, you're in the midst of this 65th anniversary celebration, and we'll talk in detail about some of the special things that are happening. And I also want to get into technology and how appliances have evolved into becoming basically their own supercomputers here. We'll have that conversation as we continue on Focus with Eric Crane from Crane's L&M Appliance after this on WSGW.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here to give you the killer deals that you need. You can get tons of deals going on right now from Fat Matt's Barbecue, Joyce's Purple Palette, Kitchen Kings, Cafe 1-3, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, the Pine River Golf Course, Beer Garden, the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon, and the Bay Regional Fencing Alliance. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Direct from the Stone Specialist Studios, this is 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
Well, if you enjoy a good family story and a celebration of business success, then this is your kind of conversation as we enjoy celebrating along with our friends at Crane's L&M Appliance Center, their 65th anniversary. Their website, Cranes, CRANES, LM.com. And Eric Crane is kind of giving us the family story behind this business. So let's talk Celebration Week. What's going on at the store, sir?
Well, we have a lot of things going on right now, including, special pricing on everything that is inside the store and in-stock products, all of our scratch and dent products that are in right now. Plus, we're doing a lot of giveaways. Cool little retro refrigerator. It's red in color. Great little Coleman cooler. Tigers tickets. We have 3 sets of Tigers tickets that we are giving away. We partnered with the Peter and Chia's, the new Thai and Chinese food restaurant that's on Bay Road. They took over the old Jay Garden. They gave 2 $25 gift cards. We try to help our community the best we can when we're able to.
Now, Eric, I have to think that you will blow my mind if I ask you what the greatest innovations in technology have been as it relates to appliances. Let's talk about refrigerators. Mine's fairly old. So what am I missing out on? What's out there now? I understand some of them will yell at me if I'm out of milk.
Yes, there's a lot of different things that have definitely come out in the last, 25 years for a refrigerator. There are also a lot of things that are out there that aren't good for a refrigerator also. There are a lot of brands out there that are really good. There are some that aren't. our mantra here is the more you have into it, the more that's probably going to break. So we will definitely sell what the customer would want. But, with our expertise here, we kind of try and point them in the right direction to where, they're going to get a quality product, something that's going to last a long time, less computers, less design.
Yeah.
It just, it's just the way things are nowadays. But, also in the, same side of that is, things have definitely come a long way compared to when they first came out also.
Yeah. I was just having that conversation recently with somebody who said, they have refrigerators now that have a video screen built into them. You can watch TV. I'm like, why on earth would I want to do that? I'm not going to stand at the fridge and watch a sitcom. So I like hearing you say that sometimes it's the stuff you don't need that can bog down the system and perhaps create the need for more repairs. Now, I'm often asked this question in the context of the golf world because I do quite a bit of work in golf. People will say to me, if I haven't bought new clubs in 10 years, what am I missing out on? And the answer truly in the golf world is a lot. You're missing out on rapid advancements in technology that make the game a lot easier. What would be the answer to that in the appliance world? If I haven't updated my washer and dryer, my refrigerator, my stove in 10 years, am I falling behind in technology that would benefit our household?
Most definitely. Everything nowadays is all about efficiency. And, with efficiency always comes, the difference of money saving. Nowadays, it all depends. Customers, when they come in here, they either want efficiency or they want something that's old school. And, we try to have a little bit of both. So that way, we can touch the sides of both sides of those.
Well, as you move your way through this week, and then get into the holiday season, I have to think that this pandemic season has been a very busy time in the appliance world as people are spending more time at home. And if finances allow, they've probably been thinking, you know what, I think it's time we upgrade. What's business been like over the last year and a half?
We have been extremely busy. With that being said, we also, as a business, we have the same problem everybody else does is it's hard to find people that want to work.
Yeah. And
so, as an owner, I am not afraid to jump in my truck and go do deliveries. I did that yesterday. I'll be doing that again today after we're done on the air here. That's you just got to be ready to do what you need to do. Through the pandemic, it's hit and miss. It's either I had a lot of product or had very little product. We did service was off the charts because people were home all the time.
Right.
A refrigerator that you would only open 2 or 3 times a day was now being opened 10 to 15 times a day. And it makes a huge difference.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yep. So washers that would only be used, 3 to 4 times a week are now being used 6 to 8 times a week. So you're doubling the use of all the appliances that are in the house, and they will fail.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I'm so thankful for the family-owned businesses that thrive in our community, because as you mentioned earlier, if I go to the big box store and I make a purchase and suddenly I need service, I'm calling an 800 number that's probably located overseas, but there's nobody coming to my house for sure.
Right.
So having the ability to offer that level of care to your customers is certainly one of the key reasons that 65 years of legacy continues at Cranes L&M Appliance Center. And again, the website, folks, is Cranes, CRANESLM.com. And Eric, congratulations on this milestone, but also congratulations for carrying on the legacy that your father set up. I think that's such an amazing part of the story of Cranes. It's to be commended, sir.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. We unfortunately, there's a lot of my generation. I'm cut from a different cloth, and I work. I get up, I go to work, I make sure my family's fed, and I make sure all my employees have a job and money coming in. We're here to help our community the best that we're able to do so when Like through the flooding of all last year, I sent my service techs out. We were doing free service, free estimates, free everything for 2 weeks.
Wow.
We tried to help out the best we can. We were special pricing, deliveries. It makes a big difference when you care. When a customer can walk in and I can recognize their face, even from 5 years ago. You can't do that to a box store because that person won't be there. Hello.
Well, I'll tell you this, I can tell that you care, and I actually think that could become your new slogan. It makes a big difference when you care, and that's the storyline at Cranes. And thank you for sharing it with us, and hopefully you'll have some listeners who come in and say, you know what, I want to do business with a place that cares, because it's hard to find that these days. So, Eric, best to you and to Mom and to the entire team there. And one more time, congratulations on 65 years.
Bill, thank you very much for having me on the air. I look forward to being on it more often. I work very closely with Terry. So, again, thank you very much for putting my story on. We're here to help. We have product in stock. Everything is mine. My delivery crew is mine. My service is mine. My installation is mine. I do not third party a single thing. It's all us.
Truly the definition of locally owned and operated. Congratulations, Cranes L&M Appliance Center. We'll take one final break here on WSGW and then make way for Terry Henney.
We've all experienced it at one time or another. One of those days, weeks, or months where life happens.
You mean like being unexpectedly laid off and trying to figure out how to make ends meet until I find another job?
Yes.
You mean like my emergency fund getting drained due to car repairs?
Exactly. When you need somewhere to turn to us. We're Members First Credit Union. Let us help you with a Life Happens loan. We're offering super low rates and a variety of terms. Get some peace of mind and money to use for all sorts of things. Emergency home repairs, everyday essentials, bills, utilities, and more.
That would be a life changer for me right now.